All right. Sandwich. Yeah. Quitting your job. Should you quit your job? Now, I'm, in my 50s, and I don't have a job. I have an occupation. I don't work for anybody, but that's because, I'm I'm a veteran. I'm a disabled veteran, and that really isn't a lot of money. So I flip appliances on the side, and I do little things like YouTube. I don't make a lot of money off it. I don't make any money off of this channel right here. I make nothing off of this channel. My other channel, I make $100 every 8 months. So I don't make a lot of money on YouTube. But I got little hustles like that where I'll make a few dollars. But mostly it's, my little government joint, and then me out here, I'll ride around my little space here, my apartment complex, and I'll see that people are throwing away appliances, whether it's a refrigerator or, just something I know I can fix. I'll take it to a storage unit, see what's wrong with it, turn on my generator, fire it up, and if it's not working, then I'll go ahead and fix it, and then I'll flip it. So that's my little hustle. So I don't per se have a job. But let's talk about having a job. Okay, when I worked, I can't remember a job that I really, really, really liked. And another thing is, I don't remember any job that I did that I felt they valued me to the hilt. I always felt undervalued. I always felt like I didn't belong there. I got fired a lot. And it hurt a lot. I got fired one time and I went into a deep depression for 6 months. Because I would go to these jobs and I would do my best and I'd just get fired. And it's just like, listen, I live in Columbus, Ohio. It's an at-will state. They can fire you whenever they want to. So I have never been happy at a job. I was just happy to work. With that being said, I knew something was out of place. So if you're one of these people, like me, where this job is not doing it for you, like I don't belong here, my best advice is to go into that job every day with the sole purpose of making a plan to leave comfortably. Do not quit your job and get out here on the streets and be in dire straits in a month. Do not do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. And don't come to me talking about this is what I did, because I'm going to say that was silly. Because for one, you have to read the room. The economy right now is in the dumpsters. Okay, we're down right now. So money is tough everywhere. This is the reason why Amazon just fired 10,000 people in one day. Okay, fired. Now, another thing about the economy that's on the flip side is there's a lot of hustles that are online. So the plan for you, this is the advantage I didn't have. The plan for you who are unhappy is, for one, find something that you like to do. I like to fix refrigerators. Like I like to look at the mechanics. I like to look at the workings. I like to listen to it. I get a catharsis out of hearing the fans run and hearing the gears turn. I enjoy it, and I didn't even know I would enjoy it, but I go on DUI channels on YouTube, and I look at what they're doing, then I look at the ones that I have, and I really like figuring things out. I like the investigative, and then the investigative element, and then fixing it, and then saying, I did this. I like that. So people know that I do this, and they say, hey, Anthony, or Tone, can you do this? Can you come and look at this? And then I give them my price, which is pretty damn fair. Especially if they buy a refrigerator from me and they know somebody who needs one fixed, I'll always give them a great deal. So I still get those calls randomly every now and then. But what I'm saying is, I found something I really like, and I don't mind going out in the cold or whatever and going and looking at somebody's refrigerator and then sitting there trying to figure out exactly what happened to it. For one, I'm getting paid to do it. So find something you like that you're getting paid for. Also, when you do this, make sure you market yourself in a fashion where you're getting paid enough to do it. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is I know the market value of a refrigerator. If you said, Tone, I have a stainless steel Samsung refrigerator, 10 years old, and it's a side-by-side, I can tell you the market price of that refrigerator because I've been flipping them for so long. And if you say the refrigerator is not cooling, I would say, do this, do that, do the other, and then that would tell me what's possibly wrong with it. Now, there can still be a number of things, but usually I can narrow it down. That way, when I get to your house, I know exactly what to look for, and it costs you less money. Because if I have no idea, it costs you more money because I have to take the time to figure it out. This means I have to look at the motherboard. I have to look at the compressor. I might have to pull apart the freezer and the refrigerator, and that is a lot of work. It could be 3 hours into it, and I'm charging you $70, $80. It can get steep real quick, and that isn't even plus your parts or the gas for me to get back and forth. So know your market. Whatever, I don't care what it is you want to do. Know the market of what you want to do. This is homework for you. Because if you say, my job pays me $18 an hour. I work normal hours. I work 8 hours a day. I make $18 an hour. This is my take home, blah, blah, blah. Then you break it down on what you spend it on, your fixed income, your rent, your electric, your gas, and then your little extras, and then the stuff that you don't necessarily need to do, like go out, but you do that every now and then. And then you look at what you have left, what you have that you're saving. You look at that and you go, I'm not really saving a lot of money. I might be looking at what? Maybe $100 out of the whole month. I have $100 that I'm not using. That's not really a lot of money to you. But if you look at it and start going, this is $100, not $99, all of a sudden your $100 becomes more valuable. You see what I mean? And then you say, what could I do with the $100 a month? And you stretch it out in a year. So you go, I take this $100, I learn about the stock exchange. I just learned about it. I don't need to dip into it just yet. I just start learning about it. And then just taking an hour out of your time every day, every other day, and just reading about the stock market, listening to other people who are on the stock market. Don't really dive too deep yet, just listening. And now you have another avenue of revenue that's possible to you. So now you can say, I got $100, I don't do nothing with it. And because I don't do nothing with it, it's usually just up in smoke, meaning you don't care about it, meaning it has no value. But when you look at it like, I worked for this $100, I'm going to take this $100 and I'm going to put it into the stock market or some type of investment. Or, hey, blessings. Or you say, I have $100. I want to put it towards whatever talent that I have that's valuable to the community that I'll get paid for if I start doing it. Like if you want to be an HVAC, or if you want to be a truck driver, or if you want to be a sous chef. But it's got to be something that's in demand. Don't say, I want to be a visual artist. Nothing's wrong with being a visual artist, but there's not a need for it. But if you say, I want to be an anesthesiologist, boom, there's a need for it. See what I mean? So, and while we're on that, I have a degree. I have a 4-year degree. I have a degree in healthcare administration. That's called healthcare administration sciences. So I do have a degree. And that also helps when you're talking to people on a certain level. You know, you let them know, well, I have a degree. So, boom, there that is. Okay, so you got your $100. Boom, you invested in something that you love to do, but there is a need for what you're doing. If you love to ride your bike and you're not making any money off of riding your bike, then you need to find something else to do. But if you are able to fix bikes, different story. And I mean really fix them. I mean from the sprocket to the reel to the different metals to the different pedals. If you got into bikes like that where you can construct them and do all this other kind of stuff, you know all about them, you become a bike aficionado. Now, is that something that we need? No, not because everybody doesn't have a bike. But it's still something that you love to do. And there's people online who like to do it. And there might be some type of monetary exchange. My thing is aim towards something that everybody needs. And I don't mean wants. Don't go to the wants unless you have your needs covered. You see what I mean? Because not everybody wants to deal with your wants. They don't want to pay for it. Not everybody cares. But a need, people like, I need this done. They're coming to you. You're that person. Okay? So, before you quit your job, start studying these elements. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. I don't know what you guys are into. I don't know any of you guys. But there's something that you guys really, really like to do. Now you have to find out the market for it. How much does it cost to learn this trade? Is there a certificate for this trade? Is there a school that I can go to? Is it online? You know, I can go to and come home from work, boom, I can tap it online, get my certificate for it. Do I need a 4-year degree? How much does the certificate cost? You know, how long will it take me to get it? You need to start figuring these things out because time waits for no man. Tomorrow you're going to be 10 years older. And you're going to look back and say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Don't be that person. 10 years from now, you should be sitting nice. And a recession shouldn't hit you. So let me say this. During COVID is where I made the most money. I'm just going to tell you that now. I was already doing this for a couple of years, but when COVID hit, the sale of refrigerators went through the roof because people wanted to pack extra food in a garage refrigerator. So they were buying these refrigerators like going out the door. So during COVID, but once the world opened back up, everything slowed down, and now we're into a recession. I had to downsize my business. People still buy, but not as much. And the market value of refrigerators has gone down, but the need is still there. There's never going to be a time where you don't need a refrigerator. You see what I mean? So people still say, hey, Tone, I need this. Hey, Tone, I need this. Plus, refrigerators break all the time. So, hey, you see what I mean? That's what I want you guys to do. get into something that you like to do, and there's always a value for it. And I don't know what it is. So it's just kind of my another thing. Let's head in another direction. Let's just say that you don't want to be out on your own. You don't want to be an entrepreneur. Whatever you guys do right now and you're unhappy with, look at it and go, why am I unhappy? Now, there's a lot of reasons why you might be unhappy. You might not like the people you work with. That just might be the problem. You might not like how far it is from your home. Like I talked to a lady today who drives 2 hours just to get to work. You might not like that. So there are different things that you can do within the company to change your demeanor about your job. Also, the fastest way to get a raise is to go from job to job to job. And because of this, you have to understand the last job you had is going to be very valuable when it comes to recommendations. You don't want to quit and burn a bridge. You want a 2 weeks notice, do it properly, and already have that next job waiting for you. So let's just say that you're a teacher. You teach at, I don't know, a boarding school, I don't know. And you're like, I want to go to a private school. I want to teach at a private school. There's an opening. You have all the credentials. You apply. They're looking at you. They hire you. And you notice that you go from, I don't know, 60,000 and you jump up to 75. Boom. One move. Boom. That's how you get a raise. That's how you do it. So if you're not happy with your job, you can also move within your job. You guys already know this, but moving within your job sometimes doesn't give you the raise that you're looking for. Like going from the janitor, all of a sudden now you're, I don't know, you're something else. You're like, it gave me, $2 raise. I might be okay if, $2 is fine with you, but you might be looking for something like a $10 raise. So once again, educate yourself in whatever it is, because, you could educate yourself in 2 years. You can get a 2-year certificate. You educated yourself. You know what I mean? You are 54. Okay. You are 54 years old. All the jobs I have been able I'm 54 years old. All the jobs I have been able 2 years long or less. Okay. The longest I've had a job was 6 years. Okay. Enlistment and Marine Corps. Yeah, well, it's different now. It's not the military. So here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with you job hopping. You listen to other people online, and because there are some millionaires online, and if you ask them how they did it, they had regular jobs, and then they said they were like you, like, I'm not happy. So they go, I'm going to go and get another job within the same vein of what I'm doing. And they just hop from one job to the other, and every 6 months to a year to 2 years, they just boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, they went from making 40,000 to 200,000. And then once they did that, they went and started dipping in the Airbnbs and the stock market and other things. They lost money, they got money, and it was turbulent until it all smoothed itself out. And now they have a beeline on what they're doing, drop shipping or whatever. But nonetheless, they wake up and they look at their accounts and there's more money in there than it was yesterday because, they were able to go through all those motions. And once they got enough money in the bank, and then they already had something that was picking up that slack, once it caught up, and they were, doing $30,000 a month, and, it caught up, and it was like, boom, there it is. I no longer need to go into this job. So I've seen this interview with this one guy. They asked him where he lived. He says, I'm homeless. They said, how much money do you make? He said, $200,000 a year. He says, I take it all and I put it into the stock market. And he was in his 20s. He's like, I take it all, put it in the stock market. I live on the street. But every day I go in, and he had a regular job. Every day I go into work. I make my money, I put it in the stock market. That guy's going to be rich, probably 5 years, maybe less. That guy's going to be a millionaire real quick. I mean, if he's doing $200,000 and he's not spending it, what, 10? So 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Give or take 5-6 years, that guy will be a millionaire. Plus, if he's putting it into the stock market, okay, so if you take $100,000 and you put it into the stock market, depends on what stock. So there are all kind of stocks, penny stocks, growth stocks, meme stocks. There are stocks that hardly ever grow. You can put it into the S&P 500. You can dump a stock into a MLP, ALP. There's just all kind of avenues where you can dump your money into a stock. It all depends on your persona and your portfolio and what you're trying to get out of that stock. If you're trying to get long-term value out of a stock, you want to put it into a growth stock. For example, a growth stock would be something like Kroger's. Kroger's is a growth stock. Somebody like Lowe's. Lowe's is a growth stock. If you wanted to put it into a meme stock, you would put it into GameStop or Best Buy. Those are meme stocks, meaning they shoot up and then sometimes they'll sink 20% on you. You know what I mean? And you got to wait until the next time it catches up to it. But people, they make their living off of growth stocks. They make their living off of meme stocks because they sit there and watch the market and they guesstimate when the market's going to go up. And once it does, they put a bunch of money into it and wait until it. And listen, if you take $100,000 and you put it into a meme stock, you have a good feeling that meme stock is going to go up 5%. What's 5% of $100,000? It's $50,000. No. I'm sorry. It's $100,000. It's what is it? It's not 50,000. It's $5,000. So you just made $5,000 just like that, and that's how some people play it. But if you're looking for the long term, you want to put it in, and you might be looking at a dividend stock. So let's just take it something that has a dividend to it. Lowe's, I don't think they have a dividend. Ford has a dividend, but they have a dividend sometimes. So not all dividend stocks have to pay you. So let's just say you wanted to get a dividend out of one of your stocks. You have to look up that stock and it'll tell you when that dividend is coming out. And then it'll tell you how much the dividend is, like 3.2, or 7.4. Usually if it's oil and it's an MLP, ALP, you'll be looking at something in between. It's pretty high, 6, 7. But it doesn't always hit a high crescent. So if you look at the end of the year, you might be looking at an MLP, ALP on a midstream, which is oil, but it's a midstream. Meaning, okay, a midstream is they're the ones who transport the material from one place to the other. They're in the middle of the whole operation. They're midstream. So they usually have pretty good dividends. However, if you look at their end of the month and then their end of the year, they may have an end of the month that's 5% positive, which is like, okay, fine. And then their end of the year might only be 14%. You're like, that's good, 14, 15% at the end of the year. But their weekly might be negative 3%. So you gotta watch how it's, doing its thing. So you say, I want to put $100,000 into an MLP, ALP. Now you're looking at what dividends you're gonna get out of it. But you gotta understand, while they're paying you quarterly dividends, you might be still losing money. So you might get your, see if it's 7, you get 7% off of it. Quarterly, you would get 7 divided by 4, whatever that is. So it's because it'd be like 7.4, 7.5. So it's almost $800. So you would just take $800 divided by 4, which is $200, be a little less than $200. That's what you would get quarterly. And it would tell you the day it's coming out. A little less than 200, right? Hold on a second. I'm trying to think if that's right. That's not right. Well, if it's $100,000, that is right. Yeah. So you'd be looking at somewhere around $200 every quarter. But if you're looking at the end of the month and your end of the month is, negative 5%, you're losing 5% on your principal, which is you lost 5% of the $100,000, which is, what's 5%? I'm trying to do this math in my head. I'm like, this isn't any good. 500, something like that. $500. It's 500. Yeah, $500 is 5%. So you lost $500 on that month. It doesn't always stay like that. And then at the end of the year, you'd be looking at, if it did 14% at the end of the year, that's how much you would get at the end of the year. So it's pretty intricate. I like oil, but I don't like necessarily midstream. So I invest in like Exxon. Why? Because Exxon's end of the year is 89% right now. I mean, it's going through the roof. Or I like to invest in Hess, which is another oil company. Right now, they're at like 91. And I could show you. Or you can actually look it up. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up Hess. It's a company I really like, but at one time it sank 21% on me, and I got out of it. I should have stayed in because I lost because I got out. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is Hess. I don't know how good you guys can see that, but that's Hess, and this is showing you what it did today. So it did 1.6 today. That's how much it did today. 1.6%. And you're going, that's not a lot of money. Once again, depends on how much money you have in it. Let's say we're playing with $100,000. 1.6, that's 1,000. No, it's Yeah, $136. Now, if you go to what it's done so far this week, it's 0.76. That's what it's done this week so far. But it's down 0.76. Now let's see what it's done this month. It's up 0.17 this month so far. Now let's see what it's done in a year. 97%. That's its projection. If it stays on the same path, 97% if it stays on the same path. See what I mean? So if you have 100 grand in there and you're looking at that, you're going, well, if it stays on the same projection, it's going to give me almost 100% of my money back. Why would you not put your money in it and go for the long term? Now, I've seen stocks do that in one day. But the next day, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I made a couple $100. Like, I used to make a couple $100 all the time. But eventually, that stock fell and I lost a bunch of money. So it all depends on what you want to do. But that's just some stock information for you guys. If I were you, I would get into oil and I wouldn't get into any midstreams. Not to mention Hess. Here's the thing about Hess. It also pays dividends of like 3.2. So off $100,000, you'd be looking at $320. And then you have to divide that up into 4 because it pays quarterly. So you're still, because it pays quarterly. So you're still getting money off of that, and it's going up, almost 100%. So that stock right now is worth a lot of money. And you could take your $100, put it into that stock, and you'll start earning dividends right away. They're going to be small. I mean, if you put $100 in there, you're going to earn 3 cents, 3 point. Let me see. It's one. No, actually, you're going to earn. I got my decimals wrong. You'll earn $3.2, and that'll be divided up into 4. So you can imagine, putting $1,000 into it. Now you're looking at $30. Divide that up into 4, and then so on and so on. And it gets to the point where you're just leaving your money there, and you're not really thinking about it anymore because your dividends are coming in, and they're paying you, some $40, $50 every quarter. And now you can take that and put it back into the original stock. That's the real idea. If you get a dividend, take it, put it back in the stock, and let it just keep compounding. And eventually it'll grow a lot faster. That's really what you want to do. But like I said, some people live off of meme stocks, and meme stocks, I kid you not, I missed an opportunity. I saw a stock go up 183% in a week. And if I would have had $1,000 on it, that'd have been it for me. I've been good. And I also seen a stock go up even higher in one day, in 1 second. As soon as the market opened, shot up through the roof. It was a crazy number too. And if you had If you had just $100 on it, you were gonna. I mean, but I was looking at 1,000. I would have made $1 million. It was crazy, and that stock they end up taking that stock off the market too because it did that. So they took it off the market where you couldn't trade on it anymore. Um, but yeah, so I say get into stocks, get into the long term though. Don't necessarily get into the short term because you can lose your money real fast. Also, look at a lot of online hustles. Get a degree. A degree always helps. I'm not even using mine, but just get one. If you don't want to get a degree, that's fine. Get a trade. How do you invest? Cash App. Yeah, I use Cash App. I do not mess with Robinhood. I don't like Robinhood at all. I do not have a stockbroker. I used to. So what I did was, before I invested anything, I started investigating the stocks. The first thing I did was call my bank. And then the bank has, like, the regular customer service cannot tell you about stocks. Somebody has to be certified for that. And then they ask you how much money you want to play with. Then they ask you how much you want to play with. So, depending on how much you have, that depends on who you talk to. Because the $10,000 people are not the $250,000 people. Also, there is, in some banks, they use robots. It's a robo account. So if you don't want somebody trading for you, you go to a robo account. And a robo account picks the stocks for you. You can also get a CD, but I wouldn't do it. Most money markets are down. CDs aren't going to pay you very well. I had a CD and I forgot how much it was, but it only paid me like $8 for the whole year. So it's a no for me for the CDs. And yeah, but yeah, but how I got that money was just through hustling my refrigerators. And here's the thing about it though, it got so good to me that I wasn't sure what to do with it. So when I got to the stock market, I lost money because I was making terrible moves and I was impatient. You know what I'm saying? Now I put my money somewhere. I'm a lot more patient with it because I know the market does a lot of this. You know what I'm saying? But now I have my favorite stocks that I just let it sit on. And yeah, so I trade through my bank and I trade through Cash App. The reason why I trade through Cash App is because whenever I get paid or something like that, I like to take my money and put it on a stock. And it might be just $100. So I'll put $100 on ExxonMobil. I'll look at the end of the year and I'll go, I'll give you $100. And I just put $100 on it and just let that be the reason and just leave it alone. So yeah, I don't usually mess with growth stocks too much. I don't put a lot into them. I might give them $10 just to see what it does. But mostly, meme stocks I mean, but mostly it's all growth stocks for me. But they have dividends. So that's what I like to do. Also, there are some dividends that are very, very high. So if you get you find a company that has a dividend of 15%, that company is going out of business. So what they're going to do is they're going to offer you 15% every quarter, but they're sucking up your principal. Your principal is just going to melt in front of your face. I mean, the company's going down like this, but they're paying you dividends. So they only did that just so they can get money into, they can get people to invest into them, and then the company is sink. It's a legal way of ripping you off. It really is. It's a legal way of ripping you off. So be aware of the high percentage when it comes to dividends. I don't really need these. Be aware of the high percent when it comes to dividends. I say stick with something that's like 3 or 4%. You'll be all right. What do you do for a living? I don't know who's here. I think there's one person here. I'm going to turn this music off. I don't know which person's here. I think, are you here, Russell? I hope I answered all your questions. But, yeah. You live in Atlanta? Cool. Yeah, most of the people that come on this channel coming from the video that I have, it's going viral. It's doing like, in the last 2 days, it did 7,200 people. So that's going pretty viral for me. I know people think most viral is, 1 million, but that's a lot for me. Well, there's a lot of room to move around in that industry. Yeah, you're a maintenance tech. But you don't like the work. You don't like the work, or you don't like to work. You don't like being a maintenance person. I mean, do you like fixing things? See, that's the thing. You're valuable. You're in a market that's valuable. Everybody needs a maintenance man. Everybody needs a foreman. But if you don't like being a maintenance person or a foreman, it's a wrap for you. So you don't like fixing stuff. Okay, let's do this. What do you like to do? Let's just start right there. Tell me one thing. You know what? Write down 5 things that you like to do. You started a groundskeeper. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. See, a groundskeeper. Yeah. Hey, man. Let me tell you something. Them groundskeepers will never go out of business. Winter, summer, spring, and fall. You live in Atlanta. You guys hardly get any snow. Come on. You'll always be popping. Now, see, you like that stuff. You know how to put down mulch. You know the different mulches. You know where to get the best mulch. You know where to get the best mulch for the least price. You know the texture of the mulch, the smell of the mulch. You know what mulch is made from. You know how long it takes to process mulch. You're a mulch expert. Nobody knows mulch like you do. You go to the mulch factory and just stand there in awe of mulch. Well, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so groundskeeper, you know how, okay, so you're a lawnmower guy. Let's do it. Come on, I mean, what are we talking about? What kind of lawnmower you like? There's a lot of different lawnmowers. There's a lot of different blades. There's a lot of different techniques. There's the lawnmower that got the two hand with the ride. That's the Cadillac of lawnmowers. I mean, what kind of lawnmower are we using here? Are we a lawn boy or are we a John Deere or what are we? What are we? What's our favorite brand? That's all I'm saying. I started to get into the lawn mowing stuff, but I didn't really want to be a landscaper. But I love the artistry of landscaping. Okay, well, wait a minute now. Ain't nothing wrong with picking up some trash. However, you got to make it so it's expandable. So I don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know how to expound or expand on picking up trash, but people make a lot of money doing it. I work as a groundskeeper at an apartment complex. I do pressure wash. Hey, there it is. And using a power blower. Okay, yeah, I like the whole pressure washer. I'm still thinking about buying me one. I'm still thinking about buying me one because I did this. I used to work for this company and they used to send me out to do odd stuff with roofing. And they had their roofers, but they needed me to go and pick up their, supplies and drop it off and stuff like that. They'd be like, hey, go to this house, go pick this up. I really like the independence of that. But one day they was just like, listen, we want you to go. And this lady needs her deck power washed. We want you to do that. So I got me a rain suit, got my boots on, went out there, plugged it in, boom, boom, boom. I enjoyed it, fired that thing up, checked my nozzles, and it was in the winter too. I enjoyed that so much. And now I'm my own man. You know what I'm saying? So I might get into that. I mean, it sounds something that's pretty cool. And when I was really looking at it, they have, when I was really looking at it, they have, I seen one dude, he had a pressure washing service, brother too. He had a big old tank of water on the back of his truck. I was like, now that dude is serious. He had the serious pressure washing, whole 9 yards. Then I was looking at videos on it, because some people pressure wash the siding of their houses. And then you can also pressure wash around your driveways and stuff like that. You got to use a circular one. I mean, it's a whole business. A lot of people are into it. So I thought about, the market itself, and then of course the need, how many people need a pressure washing service? And then I was thinking about commercially, instead of just doing houses, what is the need to pressure wash, on a commercial level? Because, you want to expand your business, but then I would need help. I couldn't do it by myself. But yeah, so pressure washing is a real thing, You should get into that. I mean, if you enjoy that, there's a lot of money to be made. But, if you want to be an independent contractor, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta save up for the downtime. That's what I did. I really, you know what? I went out when I was doing good. I went out, I bought another truck. So I got 2 trucks. And my dad, God rest his soul, gave me a trailer. So I'm pretty much set. I don't really need anything else for the business of what I do, except some, maybe little tools and stuff like that. If I get deeper into fixing them, Right now, I really just like flipping them, but if I get deeper into fixing them, then I'm going to need some more tools, which is not a big deal because I didn't go out and, spend all my money. So once the business is good, don't go out and spend all your money because you are going to have something that's going to hit you financially. It's going to happen. So if I were you and you're doing landscaping or you like doing landscaping, if I were you, for one, it wouldn't hurt to get a business card. I mean, you're in your 50s. You're like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 50s too. I'll be 55 this month. So I understand. But if that's something you really like to do, man, I would look at the market, look at other people doing it, and figure out what you need. I mean, do you have a truck? Because if you like doing landscaping, you better have yourself a nice Chevy or nice pickup truck, something. So I have an Avalanche and I have a Tahoe. And I use my Tahoe mostly for work. But I bought the Avalanche just so I can have a pickup truck effect. That's basically why I bought it. But it's a nice LS, joint. So it's a nice one. It's an 071. Yeah. Okay. So you're my age. When's your birthday? Mine's the 24th. So we're both born the same month. So a Toyota Tacoma. Yeah. There you go. So you're set on that. I don't know if you need a trailer. Depends on if you're going to, mow some lawns and stuff like that. But for pressure washing, December 19th. Okay. So you're older than me by a few days. I'm Christmas Eve. So pressure washing, right? Have you looked into pressure washing machines? Because I did. What I like to do every now and then is take a trip to Home Depot and Lowe's, but mostly Home Depot. I live closer to Lowe's though. So if you're looking at a pressure washer, let's look one up right now. Let's do that. Give me a few seconds. Pressure washer, and let's just say Lowe's. Got a pressure washer. Walmart too, but we'll go to Lowe's. All right. High pressure water. Yeah, there we go. So we got different types. Built in with the engine. Pretty sweetness. My neighbor has one. She washes her car with it. Light, okay, so light duty, mid duty, heavy duty, and then commercial. So we got our light duty, which is our PSI is 1800, heavy duty or mid duty 1900, heavy duty 28, and then commercial 31. So got all our parts. Let's look at some prices. Okay, so you got two different ones. You got your electronic and you got your gas. All right. Let's see what they're talking about. I can't see your, anything you're writing right now. So let's see if you said anything first. Nope. All right. Go back to this. Bring this over here. All right. So We go with these guys. So we're looking at electronic, and you're looking at your light duty. You would be looking at $200, $199. That's not including all your little stuff that you need, but $199 to get you popping. So you have a Craftsman. That's what's this? That's a 1700 psi light duty for $99. It's a little handheld, thing that you can strap to your little. Okay, I like the handheld. You have another 1800 psi for $149. These are not bad prices to get started. You have another one that's 23, so that's mid-duty PSI, or 2,300 PSI, and that's for $200. Another one that's here that's 2,100, so that's mid-duty for $200. So I say a $200 investment plus your whatevers. I mean, if you're not going to buy a gallon, a big old 10-gallon water thing to roll around with and put it in the back of your Tacoma. I mean, if you're just looking at just the machine, I mean, when I went out and did it for that company, they just gave me the machine. And, I went out there and figured it out myself and hooked that deck up, made it look very nice. And it was one of these jokers. It's like $149. So here's one that's 2,000 PSI for $134. This is all very, very reasonable. And I mean, it's just very reasonable. And you pretty much need to YouTube it, see what that takes you. And the great thing about this is, that is once you get into pressure washing and you get a customer base, what's going to happen is, same thing happened to me. They're going to say, hey, well, what else can you do? It always happens. Always. When people see that you can do one thing, they want you to do something else. Also, another thing always happens. I'm a big customer service first person. And I've lost money doing that, but I've obtained more money and more customers by being a customer service first person. Some people have taken advantage of that, and that's fine. But you know what I'm saying? I've still made decent money. Okay, so you prefer a gas operated. All right, gas operated, 4,200 PSI. This channel is a throwback from when YouTube was fun. Oh, thank you very much, Raven Eastwood. Thank you very, very much. I think Raven is gone, but thank you if you ever come back, Raven. So, yeah. Let's look at 4,200 PSI. Because that's money right there. Because here's one that's $400 and that's 2,700 PSI. So let's go on and roll up the ladder. Let's see. I think, well, oh, okay. So let me click on. Let's look at the gas joints. Knowing me, I'd probably do the gas. I don't know. I like the independence of the gas. I like the whole, but the thing about it is the electric is more reliable. Okay, so your gas, at 400 PSI is, $279. So that's closer to what you're looking at. So yeah, you're looking at gas. So 3,000. Okay, so here's one, 44 PSI, $839. That's a pretty penny. That's an investment right there, baby. You gotta all get, hey, if you're gonna go that route, then you must already have your act together. Like, I couldn't see dropping $900 right now on one of those and not having a customer to be found. I couldn't see it. However, I could see you dropping $300 and just posting that I do this and, taking small jobs until I got my money back, filling the market out if I really want to do it. You know what I'm saying? See how fast it takes for me to make $500. And that's really what I would base everything on. Yeah, my scale is $500. And the reason why I scale at $500 because I know I can flip a fridge for $500. Especially when the economy gets good again. Right now, it's a lot harder to do. The last fridge I sold for $400. But I bought it for $2, and then I had to buy a part for it for $1, so I only made $100 off of it. But nonetheless, I still sold it for $400. I should have sold it for $500 actually. But it is what it is. Yeah, I sold it for $400. But $500 is my mark because, flipping refrigerators at $500, you flip 2 of them, you got yourself $1,000. You buy them for $100 to $150. Or if it's a nicer one, you might spend $200 on it, but that you're gonna get $550 to $600 out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I used to do, and that's how I made some decent dollars. As far as one of these that you're talking about, I say if you have yourself a good base already, $839, and it was $899, so the economy is hitting them too. Why 4,200 PSI? Now here's one for 4,000 PSI, and it costs $940. The brand is Simpson. Well, why that much? See, you know something that I don't know, so I want to know why 4,200 PSI at least. Because the majority that are listed, are like 3,000 and below. Now here's one. This is interesting. Now here's one that's on the back of a trailer, and it costs $5,400. And it's 42 PSI. Comes with a 4-gallon GPM, cold water, gas pressure. This thing comes with its own water. But here's the thing about this. Let's see, this is a 6-foot trailer. That's not even a 6. This is a 3-foot trailer. That's interesting. That's very interesting. But I wouldn't pay $5,400 for that. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me read your comments. I'm going to tell you why I wouldn't pay $5,400. My friend and I used to go out and sell bottled water back in 2011. We made a little money, but now it's bad to sell water in Atlanta. Yeah, the water boys have made it difficult being aggressive. Yeah, they're really aggressive. I did a lot of pressure washing at this apartment, and yeah. Okay, and that's what you're comfortable with. I get it. Cool. But the thing about it is that setup that they have. See, that setup that they have is I wouldn't invest in that setup because you can get yourself a 6-foot trailer from Lowe's for $600, or you can buy one off of Facebook Marketing for even less than that. And you can get those gallons. You can get those big old things of water with the refill. Don't cost that much. And you can create your own setup. I mean, you can just cut a hole in one of them or get the nozzle to go right down into it or however you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Right on top of it, suck the water right out and hit it. Only thing you would have to worry about are thieves. So don't leave it out anywhere because somebody will take it. You know what I'm saying? That's the bad part about it. Being on a 6-foot trailer, if you pull up to your crib and it's still on the back of that trailer, somebody's coming to get it. They're going to take it. They're definitely going to take it. There are just too many videos with people, taking other people's equipment. But now you can get that set up and it be mobile where you can back it into a garage or something, or you can, take off the pressure washer every day. That's different, But make sure, like, when it's traveling, that there's a chain on it because people will catch you right at the red light. And they'll take it right off of there, right at the red light. So that's what I would do. If I had a setup like that, I wouldn't pay $5,000 for that trailer. There's no way I would do that. No way. Do you go to apartment complex and get used appliances and take them to recycle and get money? I know a few of them. I don't. And I'm going to tell you something. I started to do that. But everybody has their own guys that they do that. And what I did one time was I went to an apartment complex to pick up something, and these guys were kind of like foremen like you, and they saw me and they were like, "What you doing with that truck?" And I'm like, "What's up?" Like, they pulled up right next to my truck and it was like, "We got stuff and we just put it into a warehouse. We're more happy to sell it to you." So I got a couple items off of them, and then, I haven't heard from them in a couple of years. But yeah, I mean, I would, because I was thinking about just, calling these people up. And that's what I did at one point. I started calling people up like, "Hey, if you got appliances that you don't need, I'll come and pick them up for free." And they were like, "We got people for that." So it was a wrap on that. And even this apartment is how I started my business, because there was a mass exodus of people because they raised the rent. When they did that, they did it so they could remodel. So they knew a bunch of people were going to leave. And when they left, they would take the refrigerators, the stoves, and the dishwashers and throw them all out in the front yard. So one day I looked out there and saw them, and I said, "Hey, can I have those?" And they said, "Yeah." And I pretty much knew that they worked. And boom, I just start banging from there. I'm pretty good. No, but I think I'm gonna get an insurance license. You know, can bring me some extra income whenever I want. I really like the independence about it. A lot of times you ain't gotta go nowhere. I like the fact that it's a professional. You know, you gotta be professional about it. I already have a degree in healthcare, so I really enjoyed that whole element. I was going to do it before, but I'm not a door to door person. But now you can do it sitting in your crib. I really like that. I really enjoy that. So I think insurance is the way I'm going to go. I know a couple people who are into it. You know, they're females, so females make more money than men at it. But yeah, I think I'm going to go the insurance route. It'll cost me about maybe $400. You know, $200 here, $70 there, $30 there. So I think but I think the insurance route is a good thing. Plus, I really like the residual income. So let's talk about that. And like when we were talking about stock market, you know, dividends, you know, it's going to be there as long as a company is there, as long as you get invested in a company. I really like the fact that selling health insurance gives you dividends. Like my insurance is through Humana. My agent was like, why don't you go ahead and get your license and I'll put you under my wing and you can sell dental and blah, blah, blah. And he said, listen, uh, uh, he's like, I have over 500 clients. I was like, wait, what? I was like, how much money do you get off a contract? He said, it depends on the contract. But off of your contract, your original one, I got $5 a month. And I was like, okay, $5. He said, now off of this new one I just drew up for you, I'm gonna get $20 a month because I also have Medicaid. And I was like, well, wait a minute. If this dude is at least doing $5 a month, you know, 5 times 5, 25. So he's at least doing $2,500 a month in residuals. It's not including bonuses. That's on the average. That's what he's at least making. Now, I had talked to a young lady who used to work for a healthcare company. She got the same degree I do. And they fired her, and she didn't understand why they fired her. It broke her heart. And then I talked to her a year later. She said, she's like, I'm glad they fired me because I sell insurance and I made $100,000 last year. She's like, I go on vacation when I want, you know, I feed my grandbabies and play with them. I got all the time to myself. And that's what she does today. You know, that's their hustle. So selling insurance is not a bad idea. Everybody needs insurance. It's not going anywhere. I do understand the insurance game a little bit. And yeah, so insurance is something I might do. I might do that. But like I said, that's like I don't need to do it, but I need another source of income, you know, so I can get myself. What I want to do is get myself at least $2,000 a month that I don't need. That's my goal. Just if I can get $2,000 a month that I don't need, I'm going. Okay, let me put it to you like this: if I can invest $2,000 a month, that's my real goal. They're just putting away, and I mean putting it on just a good stock, $2,000 a month, you know, 24 a year, at a, you know, dividend of maybe 3-4% quarterly. So, you know, at the end of the year, you'd be looking at 24 times 3 is what? 24. My math is terrible. 48, 60. Oh my God, my math. I'm tired. Whatever, money. So I'm sorry. 8 to something like 62. So it would be like, and then you divide that up by 4, whatever 62 divided up by 4 is. And then that would be your quarterly. That's what you would get, a quarter. So I figure if I did that for at least, 5 years, you know what I'm saying, whatever that math is, that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, so that's my goal. And I figured do that for 10 years. Just let the money stack. You can put away $2,400 for 10 years. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's not terrible. So that's the goal. That's the goal, but I'm going to go ahead and go, man. I'm tired. Can't think straight. And you have a good evening, man. I will talk to you another time. Keep in touch. God bless you.